my shoulder, the one internalized over decades of white noise about women and their responsibilities and their relative place, eggs me on. You're not being fair to him. He's taking them away after all. Just throw some stuff together. It's only a one-night trip. It'll take you 30 seconds. What's the goddamn big deal? I gathered the iPad and some toys and put them in a bag, an offering to the devil and to my husband, to whom I wish above all else to be fair. I didn't see it coming. In 2003, when I was 30, my friend Tanya gave birth to her first child. She was a few years older than I was, and, because this was New York, the city of advanced maternal age, the first of my local peers to have a baby. Some months later, she became the first of my group to become a full-time working mother, and then the first to fall out of touch because of the new demands on her time. We try about every 6 weeks to get together, but it never seemed to happen. Finally, one afternoon on the phone, Tanya explained to me, as if it all made perfect sense, that she just was not ever going to be able to meet for dinner because her husband couldn't be alone with the baby all evening long. John's job entailed entertaining clients, so I knew Tanya was often by herself after work with their son. If she could manage that, why couldn't he, I wondered. She hemmed before offering, "He wouldn't." I asked why not. We went back and forth like that for some time. I hung up feeling puzzled by and disdainful of what she seemed to be letting her husband get away with. The renunciation of so much responsibility. Both of them worked. Why would they be less than equal partners at home? It defied all reasonable explanation. The punchlines to this story are neither few nor far between. Suffice it to say that 6 years later, I found myself co-parenting with a husband as well. This was a fortunate situation, all nicely planned and smoothly realized. But it wasn't long after our first daughter was born that I remembered Tanya's plight, because now it was mine. And if it was mine, it was also that of most of the working mothers I came to know in my dual breadwinner neighborhood in a leafy stretch of Queens. Like me, the women I met through the comings and goings at preschool and playground worked full-time, and like me, postpartum, they'd found themselves shouldering the bulk of all the theretofore unimagined burdens at home. I saw this not only among my neighborhood friends, but also, because I'm a therapist, among my patients. In my office on the border between Chelsea and Midtown, I watched it begin as early as pregnancy. 28 weeks along, and in her maternity work clothes, a woman would observe with some surprise and a nascent exasperation, "Jason seems really invested in what kind of stroller we get, but he's also completely taking for granted that I'm going to do all the research." I'd hold my tongue because my first reaction seemed unkind and overly cynical, but what I couldn't help thinking was, and so it begins. Here is where it began for me. The first fight I had with my husband about the shared responsibilities of parenthood occurred when our daughter Liv was not yet a month old. I was on what passes for maternity leave, taking 8 unpaid weeks off from the clinic where I was finishing my post-doc hours. George, whom I'd met in grad school, was working as a psychologist for the NYPD, a city job with good benefits and a 9-to-5 schedule. I was enjoying my time at home with the baby as much as anyone on an infant sleep schedule with engorged breasts can. Unable to rest during the day, I took computerized practice tests for my licensing exam while Liv napped, and on a few beautiful fall afternoons, she and I met friends taking their lunch hours on the lawn in Bryant Park. It all looked downright hedonistic to my husband, also tired, and stuck in a small windowless office in the Frack City Plaza, interviewing police officer candidates 7.5 hours a day. George had been accustomed to going to the gym most nights after work, and a couple of weeks following our daughter's birth, he wanted to resume. It was a benign enough request from his perspective, which was then, and really to this day remains, much different than mine. He had long days at the office.